Hey guys, so I just wanted to throw in a quick add-on when it comes to drift sliding, because there are going to be some maps where you may carry your drift and then land in a tunnel. Okay, it's a little different than just landing on flat ground. On this map in particular, which is called Obsidian, it's very common for players when they're going about their route that they end up carrying a drift or end up sideways at an angle, like they're going to start a drift when they land in the tunnel. Okay, so because it's also, if you have been playing a little while, you may notice that it can be difficult to drift in a tunnel without accidentally looping around and messing up, which I'm pretty sure everybody has gone through that. But in this case, I'm just going to kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. So there's a tunnel coming up here where you end up going in. I'm onto the right of the tunnel. I land kind of moving to the left, as you saw. See what I did? I basically was kind of a little bit to the right of the tunnel, and then I moved to the left at the last second, so then that way I would land in the middle, and it'll do one of two things. It'll kind of drift you out slightly, which is safe, or it'll drift you, it'll keep your drift kind of straight following this middle line, okay? That is really what you're trying to accomplish, because if you land in the tunnel and you land wrong, you're going to end up probably doing something like this, and it gets really ugly and messy like this if you start looping around in a tunnel. Most times you're not going to be able to save it when you're looping around. If you run into this scenario where you're looping around, there are tricks and things you can do to try to save it, but most of the time your camera angle is going to go in every direction. It's going to face the nose of your car. You're not even going to know which direction to push, and it's going so fast that by the time you try to save it, you basically went from first to last within about 10 seconds or less, okay? It really just depends on the skill of the players, but it will happen very quickly if you were in like a higher end lobby where you do a loop around. Don't try to save it. Just press your vehicle reset button and you start over, okay? Just like I did just there. It started me over. Oops. So I just want to kind of throw that in there because it's really easy to kind of loop around in a tunnel, as you can see here. I wasn't trying to do that, but that's how it went. So yeah, if you accidentally loop around, it happens. It's usually because of a bad placement. One other way you can kind of power through it, which I usually do on at least one or two of my laps in this map, where I build a drift here, I release, I end up going in, and if I'm not exactly trying to drift slide, I can power through it with a turbo. See? Well, I didn't finish my turbo there. I was just kind of doing a quick demonstration just to show it. Okay, I just wanted to kind of throw that in there so that way you kind of understand with drift sliding, because drift sliding works well on the ground where you're kind of trying to slide outward with momentum to sustain a longer drift or drift a little more outward when you land. But also it is very useful to use when you're also landing in tunnels. But you got to be careful, because if you accidentally get too much momentum and you slide a little too far outward, you will end up sliding around on the ceiling of the tunnel, in which if that happens, don't touch your control, don't try to drift harder, don't even try to correct it. I would say just leave it and see if it's going to straighten out itself. Because your camera angle is going to be really kind of awkwardly positioned in that scenario. Or if you think it's just going to be too late where you already overdrifted, then just vehicle reset. Okay, those are just my tips with that, with drift sliding and looping around in a tunnel.